I absolutely love Iceland. And this fall, there, there has been a lot going on. And we found ourselves with a week where there wasn't a lot going on. So we decided to sneak away to Iceland and do a very fun and very relaxing trip. It was exactly what we needed, and I just finished my travel sketchbook and I want to show you what's inside. So the first page was this really cute view in Selfoss of this building. The moon was rising. We had woken up really early and we went to the only bakery that was open at that time. By the way, the pastries were amazing, but I wanted to kind of capture the feeling of that morning. And we'd walk there from the campsite and there were all these beautiful bushes and all the colors were turning and they were so red and yellow and almost purpley and just absolutely beautiful. We went to the caves of Hela and this was absolutely fascinating. The tour guide spun such an incredible story and narrative and had us hanging on her every word. And then if you know anything about Iceland, it is full of waterfalls. I swear I saw like 50 waterfalls while I was there. In this sketchbook, I decided to do something a little weird. I put these little scraps in, and I was actually thinking they'd be modifiers for the other pages. I was not able to figure out how to make it work with that, so I just did little extra vignettes. Like this is the chimney from one of those caves. Another really pretty waterfall we saw, and I was experimenting with kind of a faster, looser style. And one of the things that I just love about Iceland is the texture of the mountains, so I just wanted to do kind of a simple sketch for that. And then I wasn't aware that there could be a best waterfall, but after visiting, I think this one's called Svartifoss, there absolutely is, because it combines waterfall, remote location, and then also these basalt columns, and I'm a rock girly, so this combined everything that I love. And then this page has a mountain vignette with, again, we had incredible moon views during this trip, and then a little vignette from our drive, as well as one of the glaciers there. And then if you know anything about me, you know I love a good pattern, and these are the tops of some basalt columns. It's such a fun pattern because it's basically a honeycomb, except for they're all a little bit odd shaped, and it's really fun to make. I might show you guys how to paint this someday. And we were lucky enough to see the northern lights on our trip. It was absolutely incredible. I feel like no matter how I paint this, it is not going to do justice to the movement, because in real life, the colors of the northern lights are a lot more muted than you see in pictures, but the movement is something that is indescribable. The way they grow and flash and move, it's like a living thing. Another bit that I really love about Iceland is that anywhere you look on the ground in certain areas, there's so much vegetation, and it's like everything's so cute. And then again, I was trying to do kind of a really fast, loose watercolor of the texture of some of the sides of those mountains. And at one point we were looking out at this view and it just felt so banded, so I wanted to do a very simple landscape, kind of just celebrating the bands of colors and just how is everything so pretty there? I've got more of the basalt columns. They were just so fun to see up close. And yes, I love Iceland, if you can't tell. Some of the horses that are just there munching along the road. And this trip we mainly did south coast and headed as east as we could get. And it was absolutely amazing. We got to see these wonderful glaciers. They were just so beautiful and a lot more textured and full of pattern than I would have expected. And in my travel sketchbooks, I like to do a little bit of everything where I try to really represent something and then play around. Like this is one where I was kind of experimenting with dropping in color from one single point and just kind of letting it flow out. And I thought that was kind of fun. We did stay one night in a hotel just to have a nice kind of reprieve from the wind, which was really nice. And this was the view of the hotel. We did go to Sky Lagoon, and this was the entrance. I didn't really want to take my camera in any more than that because I just wanted to enjoy the experience. Another fast, loose interpretation of some of the mountains. And then we did do something kind of big. As a little backstory for Mr. Unicorn, his background is in aeronautical engineering. That's not what he does anymore, but he used to work on Cessnas, and so we took this small plane flight, and he was absolutely stoked, and I was really excited to get to see the glaciers from above, and they were very, very cool. And then for my final one, I just did a little pattern for some of the sweaters because they have such neat patterns on the sweaters there. It was an absolutely perfect trip, and I also really loved making the sketchbook.